and welcome back to Mimi Leaks. Now, if you've been following any news lately, you know that there's been a lot of discussions, or you've seen discussions surrounding non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs, and Sean Diddy Combs and his alleged prolific use of them. NDAs are legal contracts that protect sensitive information, put simply, but in the world of celebrity, they can sometimes mean something else, including a tool for controlling narratives and silencing allegations. Recently, reports have surfaced about Diddy using NDAs in some pretty significant ways. And today, we're going to explore an NDA that was submitted as an attachment in the civil lawsuit of Rodney Jones versus Combs. This specific NDA was drafted after a shooting that took place in 2022 at a recording studio and was handed to people at the studio, according to Mr. Jones, the plaintiff in this suit. Make sure to stick around until the end, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Now let's get started. Standard Combs NDA. You have the name, the date, email, or other contact information, which in this case is redacted. This confidentiality agreement hereafter, is made and effective as of Friday, September 9th, 2022, by and on behalf of redacted or you. The term you shall include you, your estate, each corporation, and other business entity in which you have an ownership or beneficial interest, and any and all persons and or entities owned and or controlled by you or such businesses, for example, affiliates, employees, officers, directors, managers, accountants, and agents, and all of your respective heirs, executors, representatives, administrators, employees, licensees, successors, and assigns. For good and valuable consideration, collectively consideration, the receipt and sufficiency of which are hereby acknowledged by you, you hereby irrevocably agree as follows. 1. Sean Diddy Combs, aka Puff Daddy, or artist, and his privacy is highly valued, and all efforts will be made to maintain confidentiality with respect to all information and other material of any kind, including without limitation the terms, conditions, and existence of this agreement concerning and or related to, directly and or indirectly, the artist, and or any person, corporation, and or other entity related to or affiliated and or associated with artist, personally and or professionally. So this would include, without limitations, family members, relatives, and past or present fiancés, husband or wives, boyfriend, girlfriends, friends, and business associates, and then collectively artist parties and each artist party as well, except for information material publicly and intentionally disclosed by the artist. You hereby irrevocably agree that A. You shall not at any time use or disclose, directly or indirectly, to anyone of the following information: any information acquired by you in any manner and or by any medium or means whatsoever at any time in the past, present, and or future, which concerns or in any way relates to artist, any artist parties and or artist business activities, entertainment activities, financial affairs, and or personal life, and all such information shall be deemed confidential, private, secret, and sensitive, and kept by you as confidential, unless artist otherwise advises you in writing in artist's sole discretion. And B, any and all information described in paragraph 1A, including, without limitation, pictures, recordings, records, documents, property, merchandise, or other information related to artist and or the personal, professional, and or other activities of artist or any artist party, whether prepared by, on behalf of you or otherwise coming into your possession is and shall remain the artist's sole and exclusive property and shall not be disclosed, removed, sold, disseminated, copied, or otherwise used and or exploited by or on behalf of you without the artist's prior written consent. C, without limiting the foregoing, without artist's prior written consent, which may be withheld for any or no reason, you shall not and shall not authorize any third party to photograph, film, or otherwise record 1. Any sound, likeness, and or activities of artists and or any artist parties of any kind of nature, whether personal, professional, or otherwise, including without limitation any appearance, performance, and or rehearsal by artist, and or 2. Any other activities during or related to any service or activity performed by artists and or any artist parties. D, without limiting the foregoing, 1. You shall not and shall not authorize or facilitate any third party to, without artist's prior written consent, which may be withheld for any or no reason, give any interviews, whether oral or written, write a prepared or assist in the preparation of any books or articles, whether fictional or non-fictional, make any remarks of any kind, or create any other materials in any media, including, without limitation, confirming and or denying any confidential information related to artist and or any artist party to or for use by yourself and or any third party, including, without limitation, print and or broadcast media, which interviews, books, articles, remarks, and or materials concern, discuss, or reference artists and or any artist parties in any matter whatsoever. All information and materials in paragraphs 1A through D, whether or not publicly disclosed by others, the prohibited material, it's called. 2, you are hereby, and we are on part D, number 2, okay? So 2, you hereby irrevocably grant, convey, transfer, and assign to artists all right, title, and interest, including all copyrights and any renewal, extension, or similar rights, in and to any prohibited material, whether or not the same are used and or exploited, and regardless of the medium involved, and artist may register such copyright in his own name or the name of any designee. And 3, without limitation of any other rights or remedies of artist and or any artist parties, artist and or artist parties shall be entitled to recover any and all monies or other benefits whatsoever received by or on behalf of you from any and all sources in connection with any use and or dissemination by, on, or on behalf of you of any confidential information and or prohibited material hereunder, and any such monies or other benefits so received by or on behalf of you shall be held in trust by or on behalf of you for immediate payment to artist and or artist parties. E, you shall not and shall not authorize or facilitate any third party to use and or reference artist and or artist parties name or identity, including your relationship with artist or any artist party, with respect to any transaction, sale of goods, or other solicitation. And F, without limiting the foregoing, you shall not at any time defame or disparage artists and or the artist parties and or use, disclose, disseminate, or confirm, directly or indirectly, to anyone any information or material which may harm, disparage, demean, or reflect negatively or poorly upon or cause injury to the reputation, character, or career of artists and or any artist parties. The foregoing expressly includes, without limitation, communications appearing on the internet via blogging and or social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Without limiting the foregoing, you shall not, without artist's prior written authorization in artist's sole discretion, A. Distribute, publish, or permit the distribution or publication of photographs, videotapes, films, audio tapes, or any other recorded sound or imaging, or any other materials of artist and or artist parties, whether or not the same constitutes prohibited material. Or B, copy, excerpt, or otherwise use and or dispose of any artist and or artist parties materials, including any property or materials in your possession or control that belong to artist and or the artist parties, and or if such property does not belong to the artist and or artist parties which contain prohibited material, to the extent you have not delivered or removed such prohibited material therefrom as required hereunder, including, without limitation, data, documents, records, smartphones, computers, files, etc., and that upon expiration or termination of the relationship with or in connection with artist, or earlier such date as artist may require, you or your legal representative, heirs, successors, or assigns shall promptly deliver possession to artist in good condition, and any property of artists and or artist parties and or other records, copies, excerpts, and or aforementioned materials that are in your possession or control. Whew. 2. You shall acknowledge that, due to the nature of the entertainment industry, and any disclosure or dissemination by you of any information or material described in paragraph 1 will deprive the artist and or the artist parties of the right to use such information or material. You expressly agree that if you breach or threaten to breach paragraph 1, artist and or the artist party would suffer immediate irreparable harm and injury to which could not be adequately compensated by an award of monetary damage. In addition to all other rights or remedies available to artists and or artist parties, artist and or the artist parties shall be entitled to injunctive relief and all other remedies provided in such event by law or equity. Such remedies shall include, without limitation, the right to prevent dissemination of any information or materials described in paragraph 1. You agree to execute any documents and take such other actions as may be reasonable requested by artist and or the artist parties to further evidence or effectuate the rights set forth in this agreement. You hereby appoint artist as your attorney in fact, which appointment is irrevocable and coupled with an interest, with full power of substitution and delegation to execute all such documents which you fail to execute within 5 days after artist and or any artist parties request therefor. 3. The term of this agreement and duty to keep all information confidential and not use prohibited material shall commence on the first date above and continue for life of artist, plus 20 years or 70 years, whichever is longer. 4. You warrant and represent that A. You have the full right, power, and authority to enter into this agreement and be bound by the obligations herein. B. Neither the execution, the delivery, nor performance of this agreement by you shall conflict with or result in a default or loss of rights under any agreement of understanding to you or any of your affiliates is a party or by which you or any of your properties may be bound. C. This agreement constitutes your valid and binding obligation, enforceable in accordance with its terms. And D. You have signed this agreement voluntarily, without duress, coercion, or undue influence. This agreement shall be deemed to have been entered into the state of New York, and its validity, interpretation, and legal effect shall be governed by the laws of the state of New York, applicable to contracts entered into and performed entirely therein. The New York courts only will have jurisdiction over all controversies related to this agreement and any action or other proceeding which involves such a controversy will be brought solely in the courts located within the state of New York. You hereby consent to the personal jurisdiction of such court and waive any objection based on personal jurisdiction, venue, or forum non-convened. This agreement embodies our entire agreement with respect to the subject matter hereof. This agreement shall inure to the benefit of and be binding upon the parties hereto and their respective heirs, executors, administrators, representatives, members, owners, shareholders, licensees, designees, successors, and assigns. This agreement may not be transferred or assigned in any manner by you, and any attempted transfer or assignment shall be deemed null and void. Faxed, photocopied, and scanned signatures of this agreement shall be deemed effective as originals. 5. You agree to defend, indemnify, and hold artist and any artist parties and their respective parents, subsidiaries, affiliates, licensees, assignees, and their officers, directors, members, managers, agents, distributions, and employees harmless from and against all liabilities, damages, judgments, losses, costs, and expenses, including, without limitation, reasonable counsel fees of any kind or nature whatsoever, which may be sustained or suffered by or secured against any of them by reason of, based upon, or relating to any breach of any of the provisions, representations, or warranties contained herein, or by virtue of any inaccuracy in or breach of the representations and warranties made by you, or by virtue for any inaccuracy in breach of the representations and warranties made by you hereunder to any third party on behalf of the artist and or artist parties, or any claim, action, or proceeding asserted or instituted relating to or growing out of any such breach. 6. All covenants, terms, restrictions, and provisions of this agreement are severable. If any such covenant, term, restriction, and or other provision is held by a court or other legal forum of competent jurisdiction, competent judicial authority, to be invalid, void, or unenforceable, such covenant, term, restriction, or other provision shall be amended to the limited extent necessary to be valid and enforceable, and the remainder of this agreement shall remain in full force and effect. The parties acknowledge that any competent judicial authority shall be empowered to modify such invalid, illegal, or unenforceable covenant, term, restriction, and or provision, if any, in accordance with this paragraph. 7. This is an important legal document. You acknowledge that A. You have reviewed this agreement with your legal counsel or knowingly declined the opportunity to do so. B. Your failure to review this agreement with your legal counsel shall not impair the legally binding nature of this agreement. And C. You have fully read and you understand and voluntarily accept all of the terms and conditions of this agreement, rather. You certify that you are 18 years of age and older, accepted and agreed, including acknowledgement of receipt of all consideration. And then there's redactions of name, street address, city, state, and zip code, and the date. And the date, September 9th, 2022, of this anonymous NDA. And then the signature is redacted. That will do it for today. I know this video was a short one, but I felt it was important as it may account for a lot of the silence of witnesses and victims in the way that the NDA is drafted. It appears largely unenforceable based on legal experts and their opinions, and we'll see where this goes. But thank you for staying with me. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.